tutorial I'm going to show you how to finish off Peckish's beak and her comb after you've just finished knitting them and before you sew them onto her head. So beginning with Peckish's beak, I've threaded the cast off tail end onto a darning needle. This is the longer end and the one I'm going to use to sew the beak round into more of a beaky sort of shape. The beak's one of those things that can look kind of funny when you've just finished knitting it, and then even when we finish sewing it together, and you really don't get to see that it does actually look alright until you've actually sewn it onto Peckish's face. So have a bit of faith while you're making it and it'll turn out alright. To finish off the beak, with the right side, which is the knit side, which I've got facing you, you're going to stitch the cast off edge, which is this end with the cast off tail on it, to the cast on edge, which is this end down here. So fold it over and just put your needle through this part and join them together like that. So it's a bit more of a round, knobbly sort of shape now. Then to go a little bit further, you can come along up the sides a little bit here as well. This isn't an exact science, this is a bit of going with your gut and what ends up looking good for you. And I like to come around a third time on this side too, so just through these stitches. Then you've just secured it into this sort of funny little round beaky shape. Now, you're going to leave this long end here because you're going to use that to sew to Peckish's face. And you can just darn in this cast off tail into the beak a little bit. So just thread my needle with that. So darning in the little cast off tail is really simple. Just sort of go in and out a couple of times. And no one will be able to tell it's there because this is the part we're going to stitch to Peckish's face. And then you can do a little knot if you like on the inside part before snipping that off. Close to the knot. And that is her beak, which is a funny little thing, but as you can see, once it's on her face, it looks quite good. So that's her beak finished. Now we'll do her comb. So to finish off Peckish's comb, again you're going to use this long tail that you've left after casting off to thread your needle with, and with the right side facing you, you're going to fold it in half, and that's when you get the little eyelets you made to start to look like a comb. So fold her in half, and then with your tail, start on the tail end here, just going to join the two sides together. Then while you're up this side, go up the side of the comb a little bit as well. You'll normally only need to do one stitch up there, and then to get your yarn back down here, you're just going to go through this part. Again, this isn't an exact science, this is a bit of going with your gut, going with what looks good while you're doing it, and doing what you need to do to get the result you're after. So for this part, I'm working on this is the cast off edge, which is a bit more obvious than the cast on side. So if I don't want this showing up on my finished chicken, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my needle on the inside of the comb here just to move my yarn position. Then when I sew it, I'm going to sew over the top of this part so that it starts to hide. See how I've brought the yarn over the top of it? As you go along and do that, you'll start to hide this lumpier edge. So go along each stitch, and then when I'm coming back through on this side, it's a little bit tricky. Put your needle in under sort of the first stitch on the first row. So can you see what I've done there? And pull your yarn through. And this just folds this cast off edge, in under the comb a little bit. So keep going. You're sort of going into the right leg of the stitch on the first row on this side, and then you're just going through the top of the stitch on the other side. Every now and again just turn your comb over and make sure you're happy with how the other side is looking. And just continue to sew along. So you're sort of using the principles here of mattress stitch, but doing a few different little manoeuvres to get the finish to look really polished. As you do work along, just keep kind of squeezing the knitting under your hands to really amplify these little comb segments, so you end up with a nice shaped comb. Then I'm down on the last corner now. You can see now that I've finished, that cast off edge is all tucked inside, and I've got a nice 3D comb ready to be sewn onto the head almost. I just need to sew this little side seam. That's the comb finished. As we did for the beak, I'm going to leave this long tail here because I'm going to use that to sew onto Peckish's head later. And I'm just going to hide this cast on tail inside the comb. So just get your cast on tail and just sew it along just on this bottom edge, this part that no one's going to see, just a couple of times. And you can tie a little knot there if you want to. Very close, right up close against the knitting. And you can just snip that off. And when you've sewn that onto Peckish, no one will be able to see that. So there's your comb ready to go. And when it comes to sewing it on, she's got a nice tidy comb on each side.